too good. Like, we didn't even clap. We just were just
You're just
standing
like-
there staring. Too good.
I'm so excited. So excited! I just sounded like that song that so excited. But you know what I'm talking about? No. I don't have to either. But I've just seen it. Yeah. I was like so excited when we were like, we're shutting it down. And now it's still around. Oh.
Shutting what down?
TikTok.
TikTok.
And they didn't. I was like, oh. I need to probably get upstairs.
You don't have to say anything. Just play. I'm betting if they took the runoff votes this morning. I'm betting if they're taking the runoff votes this morning, then they'll announce them at the end of school today, just like they did last year. Except they did it last year. They did it on a Friday, and they did the first votes in the morning, and they did the runoff votes like at lunch, and then they announced it at the end of the day. They're doing it kind of spaced out.
Kind of weird, but maybe just keep.
What time is chapel? Hey, you guys get to see me finally worship.
Almost about time. Hey y'all, welcome to chapel. Would y'all please stand and worship with me?
God of creation, there at the start, before the beginning of time. With no point of reference, you spoke to the dark and fleshed out the wonder of light. And as you speak, 100 billion galaxies are born. In the vapor of your breath, the planets form. If the stars are made to worship so light, I can see your heart in everything you made. my heart through all of my failure and on a hill you created, the light of the world, abandoned in darkness to die. And as you speak, 100 billion failures disappear. For you lost your life so I could find it here. You left the grave behind you so alive. I can see your heart, everything you've done. Every part designed in the work of art called love. You gladly chose surrender so alive. I can see your heart 8 billion different ways. Every precious one, a child you died to save. If you gave your life to love them so alive, like you would again 100 billion times. But what measure could amount to your desire? You're the one who never leaves the one behind. You're the one who never leaves the one behind.
There's a place where the heart is under fire. Another way when the walls are closing in. And when I look at the space between where I used to be and this reckoning, I know I will never be alone. There was another in the fire, standing next to me. There was another in the waters, holding back the seas. Should I ever need reminding how I've been set free? There is a cross that bears the burden when another died for me. There is another in the fire. There is another in the fire. On my dead leopard beneath the waters, I'm no longer a slave to my sin anymore. And shall I fall in the space between what remains of me in this reckoning? Either way, I will bow to the things of this world. And I know I will never be alone. There is another in the fire, standing next to me. There is another in the waters, holding back the seas. Should I ever need reminding what power set me free? There is no other name but the name that is Jesus. He who was and still is and will be through it all. So come what may in the space between all the things unseen and this reckoning, I know I will never be alone. And I know I will never be alone. There'll be another in the fire, standing next to me. There'll be another in the waters, holding back the seas. Should I ever need reminding how good you've been to me, I'll count the joy from every battle, 'cause I know that's where you'll be.
I can see the light in the darkness as the darkness bows to him. I can hear the roar in the heavens as the space between wears thin. I can feel the ground shake beneath us as the prison walls cave in. Nothing stands between us. Nothing stands between. There'll be another in the fire.
Standing next to me, there'll be another in the waters, holding back the seas. And should I ever need reminding how good you've been to me, I'll count the joy come every battle, 'cause I know that's where you'll be. I'll count the joy come every battle, 'cause I know that's where you'll be.
Will you please pray with me? Dear God, thank you so much for this day, for allowing us to come to a school in person where we can speak freely about you. Today, I specifically ask that you speak your truth through me and that you open up the hearts and the minds of everyone who is listening and just give me a sense of peace and help this to be about you and not about me. Amen. All right, so what's up? My name is Ava Bowling, and I'm your speaker today. Maybe you recognize me as I literally just played guitar 2 seconds ago, but maybe on the live stream the quality might be a little bit weird, so yeah. Usually people refer to me as that one girl who plays guitar and sings on worship team. And I've actually been on worship team for quite a long time now, but I've been going to this school even longer. To be specific, I've been going since kindergarten. So that's like 5-year-old me, and now I'm 17. So basically, you could say I've grown up here. And as I partake in my final year at this school, I've come to realize that there's really no other place where I would have rather grown up. However, there always seems to be a however. Growing up for me was a little bit different, as I was very, very shy, and lots of my friends know that about me. But I'll hit on that in a second. But the thing is, when people are shy, they're usually observant, and that's just a fact. They like to listen more. But you don't have to be shy like I was to notice some things. For example, you don't have to be as observant to know when someone at chapel mentions Christianity, lots of people tune out. So if you have tuned out, I'm asking you to please tune back in. This will only take 15 minutes. I feel like what I have to say is very important to you, and you don't have to be observant to know when people are strong in their faith or when they might not have a relationship with God. And I really, really want to grab the attention of those who might not have a relationship with God. But if you feel like you're firm in your faith today, things happen, unpredictable things happen. So this is just as applicable to you. So back to where I was shy. When I was 4 years old, I was diagnosed with this disorder called selective mutism. To put it simply, I guess you could say I was abnormally shy, but to put this into perspective, it was more like this. You would come up to 4-year-old, 5-year-old, 6-year-old me, you would say, "Hey kid, what's your name?" And I would do something along the lines of this. If you can't see on the live stream, it means I would stand there and stare blankly into the distance and not say a word. Now, that's kind of awkward, but I really did want to speak. I really did want to say my name, but the words just wouldn't come out. It felt like there was a waterfall roaring down my throat, drowning out my words and confining them deep into the pits of my stomach. So I stumbled through most of my early childhood blindly, often mistaken as this aloof, rude kid who just didn't want to participate in class, who didn't want to do anything. But that's all I wanted to do. All I wanted to do was tell people my name and tell people who I was, but I just couldn't. So I went to therapy for that, a lot of therapy. And eventually I got to the point where I could hold short conversations, and I still hated it, but I could manage myself. And then, around 4th grade, I was diagnosed with another anxiety disorder. Maybe you've heard of it. It's more common than selective mutism. It's called emetophobia, or in my case, the paralyzing fear of being sick. I just remember being that little 4th grade girl sitting in bed, getting ready to settle down and go to bed, and I was perfectly healthy and fine, and all of a sudden I would convince myself, I'm about to be sick. And I would just run down to my parents and just uncontrollably cry and have so many anxiety attacks. It happened at least like 5 times a week. It was not fun. Now see, I'd been going to Legacy for a while now at this point, since I was in 4th grade, so I was aware of who God was, but I didn't really care to, make a relationship with him. I kind of viewed it as like, oh, I have history class, got to get a good grade in history class. I have Bible class, got to get a good grade in Bible class, And then, after that, middle school came around. I'd say middle school is probably a hard time for all of us. I'm sure all of you can name at least one thing that went wrong in middle school. And for me, that was mainly, a lot of things happened, but mainly my parents almost got a divorce. And when a husband and a wife, when they're fighting, and they really care about their breaking marriage, they're going to put a lot of time and a lot of effort into trying to save that marriage. And my parents did that. And since they were putting so much time into themselves, I felt abandoned, and I felt alone, and I felt confused, and I felt angry. I wasn't abandoned in any way. I just felt like no one cared about me. Now, I would say at this time, my selective mutism had transitioned into more of a normal social anxiety. But because I didn't think my parents cared about me, I did not tell them how I felt, because I thought, they don't care. So the anxiety attacks began happening again, but this time I did not go to my parents, and because I still had social anxiety, I did not tell anyone at school what was going on, and my emotions slowly but surely began eating me from the inside out, and it got really, really bad to the point where I felt very detached from reality, and I started to self-harm because I thought that's the only way I can keep myself grounded. Then from there, I really, really wanted to leave this world. I did not want to be here anymore. And so much so that, in fact, I remember one night I was standing in the kitchen. My parents were fighting in another room about whatever they were fighting about. And I remember I picked up the biggest knife I could find, and I put it to my chest, and I said, before I did it, I said, if there's anyone out there, please stop me. If there's someone or something out there, please stop me. And it felt like I had lost control of my hand as the knife clattered to the ground and hit the floor. And I was very confused, and I was terrified, and I was angry as I ran up to my room and I cried. I was not crying because I was having an anxiety attack like I usually was. I was crying because I was livid. I did not want a reason to live, but something or someone, that reason was so strong that I said, you know what, fine, I'll stay. I have nothing to lose, whatever. Around this time, through all this, I had gotten into music. I really like music. And I joined the worship team. Worship team is a huge part of my life. But if you think about it, I was getting on a big stage in front of people that I hadn't had conversations with all of them. I didn't even know all their names. And not too many years back, I couldn't even say my name to anyone. Like if you told 4-year-old me, hey, one day you're going to be singing and playing on stage, and one day you're going to be saying your testimony to the whole high school, she would, actually no, she would not say, because she had selective mutism. She would think in her head, you're crazy. But anyways, through worship team, I started paying attention to the lyrics, and I thought, maybe there's some truth behind them. You know what, I'm going to try to form a relationship with God. I have nothing to lose. And then one day, the beginning of my junior year, one of my friends invited me to a church service on a Wednesday night. And we arrived actually very late. There were only like 30 seconds of worship left. and the only seats were the ones in the back to the right. I remember standing there, and then I turned to my side, and there was this huge light illuminating from the ceiling on top of all the high schoolers' raised hands, and their voices just filled my ears, and what felt like a wind swept through me. And I seriously felt like I was gonna fly or something. It's crazy. And I just started uncontrollably crying because I had felt that feeling before. And I recalled the night back in the kitchen, and I realized that something, it wasn't a something, it was a someone, and that someone was God. And God told me that night at the church service that, Ava, through your ups and downs, I had always been there for you. I was just waiting for you to notice, waiting for you to give me a chance, and that night I really did. And from that night, I feel like I have really, really grown in my relationship with God. Now, why am I telling you all this? I'm telling you all this because I suffered for many years alone without God. And I want to tell you that money, that good grades, that drugs, any material things, you name it, it's not gonna fill that black hole inside of you. I promise, I tried, it's literally not gonna work. You may think I'm wrong, but I promise on everything that it's true. And maybe you're suffering now. And if you're not now, you will later. I'm begging you with everything inside of me, do not go through it alone. Don't go through it without family, don't go through it without friends, and most importantly, and I say this in all seriousness, do not go through it without God. Because I did, and it nearly took me away from this world. In fact, I would not be standing here if it was not for God. So I'm begging you, give him a chance, get to know him now, get to know him today. If you don't know where to start, just grab a Bible, start reading. If that's not enough for you, go talk to someone. Go find someone who you know is firm in their faith. Come talk to me. I'm not a scary person. I would love to have that conversation with you. And if you haven't been listening this whole time, there's one thing that I really, really want you to get. One sentence. I want you to know that you are loved and that you are wanted and that you are never alone. And for those of you that are at rock bottom right now and are thinking and doing things that you know you should not be doing, and for those of you who might be contemplating leaving this world, I need you to stop and don't do it, and I want you to picture this for a moment. Picture yourself 10 years down the line. Maybe you're sitting in your house with your husband or wife and with your kids, and you will look back on today and you will be so thankful that you did not do it. So just trust me on this. Talk to someone and also talk to God. There are so many people who would love to help you. So go get help. Don't be alone. You are loved, you are wanted, and you're not alone. And if you feel alone, that is because you are separating yourself from the God and the people who love you. Being sad, whether it's big or small, if it's making you sad, it's making you sad, and talk about it. And if someone's making you feel bad about feeling the way you feel, don't listen to them. They don't know what they're talking about, because at the end of the day, we're all humans, and when we leave this place, we're gonna know this much when there's this much to know. So don't let other people define your purpose. Instead, find your purpose in God, the God who loves you, who wants you, and wants you to know that you are not alone. Let's see. And there's this phrase, right? Running after the light at the end of the tunnel. Some of you, you're chasing after that light at full speed. And you feel like you're almost there. And so you take a second for one final push. You look down at your feet, you stretch. Then you look up, and the tunnel's just gotten longer, and the light is even farther away, and it seems like you're never, ever going to reach it. What if I told you there was a way for there to not be a tunnel? What if I told you there was a way for there to be a light the whole time? It's funny, because there is. So stop trying to find momentary satisfaction in a light that you will never reach. Instead, let the light of the world shine down on you, because he has always loved you, and he is waiting for you, and all you have to do is give him a chance and notice. That's all I have to say. And now I'm going to sing a song. I need this. walk with me by quiet streams. I need to hear the wind and feel the ground beneath my feet. 'Cause you're the only friend who can set my soul at ease. In the quiet pride of my Father's eyes, I remember who I am. When I feel the warmth of my Father's smile, feels like I've been born again. I've been born again. Realign my heart and help me keep the first things first. Let me hear your whisper, and God, I hang on every word. 'Cause you're the only friend who can set my soul at ease. In the quiet pride of my Father's eyes, I remember who I am. When I feel the warmth of my Father's smile, feels like I've been born again. I've been born again. Cause you're the only friend who can set my soul at ease. In the quiet pride of my Father's eyes, I remember who I am. When I feel the warmth of my Father's smile, feels like I've been born again. I've been born again. Oh, perfect. Thank you. Can they go to class now? You can go now.